the question of mortality and time. We humans may not be good at adapting and transitioning, but what we are good at denial.
Do you know that you are officially an adult when the very last parent passes away? Picture an umbrella. You feel kind of safe underneath that umbrella. You're protected from the elements. That umbrella could be your parents. It could be the very last parent. And when that is removed from your life,
all of a sudden, it's just you and your decisions. And that's what I mean about being an adult.
Something to think about on this next episode of Chattin' It Up with CJ. Caregiving is difficult to begin with. There's a lot of things to consider. And when you are taking care of your loved one, whether it be your parent, a sibling, your husband, your wife, whomever, it's still the same. It is very difficult. And it takes a lot out of the person that has taken on the task of being a caregiver. There's a lot of things that you have to have in place that people may or may not consider, may or may not have already in place. But what happens when that moment that we all dread, that nobody wants to discuss, that we don't want to face, when the inevitable happens and your loved one passes away? Let's assume it's a parent. Let's assume you have siblings. It's strange to think, but your entire life up until that very moment, you will always be a child to someone, whether it be your father or your mother. You will always be a child. And if you are blessed to have siblings, you are the children of those parents. But when the very last parent leaves, what happens?
Our parents, good or bad, healthy or unhealthy, our parents represent a constant in our lives. And if we are lucky enough to go all the way into adulthood and still have living parents, we make a childlike assumption in our unconscious that they'll be around forever. And these old pains and hurt feelings and transgressions of the past, we'll talk about those someday. And then we never define someday. And
people don't really think about that. But when you really do think about it, you're no longer someone's child, at least among the living. That umbrella of protection that your parents always invisibly gave, you kind of knew that they were like your catch-all and safety net. That's gone. So then I ask you this question, and I kind of think it's true. That is actually the day you become an adult. Every decision that you make is based on your decision. You don't have them anymore to bounce off of. Hopefully you've been instilled some lifelong teachings that you acquired and that you apply to your life, and that's what your parents had done for you. But the bottom line is when they're gone, it's on you. Now, I have to admit that when my mom and dad passed, I was like, this is what it's like to be an orphan? I don't know what it's like to be an orphan. I've never been in this position before. I've never had a moment in my time where I didn't have my parents up until 2 years ago. But it is strange. And all of a sudden, your mortality starts ticking away at you. It's like pick, pick, pick.
then the parent falls ill. And when the parent falls ill, every member of the family gets a mortality check. All the siblings feel the pressure of the time, feeling a sense of urgency that was never there before. And it's there now because they can feel the end is near. It's also stressful as hell. And the other thing we don't do well under stress is exhibit patience for one another. And so the caregiver is suddenly under-resourced and depleted and really doesn't have the patience for sibling complaints.
I laugh. It's kind of scary because it's kind of like a cartoon where you see a cliff and little characters are walking to the edge and then boop, one jumps off. Boop, next one goes. You realize, oh my God, I'm in that line. And I'm getting close to that edge. Boop. Yeah, people don't like to talk about their mortality or anyone else's. I get it. It's uncomfortable. But that's the thing. The umbrella of safety that our parents put over our head or maybe is put underneath us is now gone. Now, there's some people that are caregivers and they are only child. They're an only child family, one child. That's it. No siblings. Sometimes I think they're better off than we are. I have a support group and I have some only children that are currently taking care of their parents. And they look at us and they went, man, I'm kind of glad I'm by myself. I make my own decisions. I don't have to worry about all that other stuff. And I kind of get what they mean. Yeah, it makes it hard. And their caregiving role is difficult because they're by themselves. They're independent already. And that might be to their advantage. But when you're used to being with siblings and you start to look at who's there for you, who's not there for you, who stepped up, who didn't step up, people have built up resentments. And then sometimes they work great with you. Everybody takes a role and everybody helps out, and it's wonderful. But sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. What it comes down to is that glue that held the family together is gone. My mom wasn't necessarily the glue, but when it was gone, it was like all of a sudden the awareness of who we were as individual adults was like right in our face. And it was like, we're going to make decisions for ourselves and do what we want to do without any hindrances of a parent saying, do you really think that's right? Why don't you do this together? How come, that guilt, that pressure of being a family, it kind of like dissipates and you find yourself doing things independently. It doesn't mean that anybody's bad. It doesn't mean that anybody's wrong, but you just find yourself choosing a different road. It may feel uncomfortable, but it's okay. And I think that's what I'm trying to tell you in this post-caregiving world. Things change. And even afterwards, you tend to see people for who they really are. And they tend to see you for who you are. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's a different thing. You were probably always shown who they were and vice versa, but you always subdued it because you wanted to maintain peace within the family. But because that pressure of being a family is now not as intense, if you will, you find that you choose different roads and you move in different ways. And the caregiving role is, there's a lot of feelers out there, right? There's a lot of feelings, a lot of finger pointing, a lot of sometimes guilt, sometimes heavy expectations. Again, it does not mean that it's wrong or right. It means that these independent individuals that are called family may see life differently. And when the pressure is gone of caregiving and the person that you are taking care of, when that parent is gone, well, it is what it is. It doesn't always have to be sad, and it doesn't always have to be happy, happy, joy, joy. Separate lives as adults, not as someone's child or part of a childhood family situation. Yeah, you grew up together. Yeah, you have history. When you grow up, things change and life changes you. For the same token, so does death, which is actually living. Think about that one. If you're among the living, death will occur. What are you going to do with it? Don't beat yourself up. Don't feel guilty about anything, because not everybody can bring to the table the same thing. Not everybody can step up. Some people were not designed for that. You would think and you would hope that people would be more compassionate and empathetic when it comes to this type of care, especially when it has to do with our parents. But for whatever reason, some people do, some people don't. It doesn't make you a bad person. All I know is at the end, you know that cliff where everybody's like walking closer to the edge and whoop. Yeah. Time doesn't wait for anyone. And that event seems to be on turbo. Tomorrow's not promised to anyone. So make the most of your time. Make the most of your days. Because it is a commodity you can never get back. And with that, I'm going to wish you all the best. Stay blessed and always be good to yourself. And I will see you at the next video. Hey, thanks for watching. And please remember to hit the subscribe button. We are trying to grow our channel and reach 1,000 subscribers. Now, for every new subscriber, these two nutheads right here, they're going to get a treat, so we will all be happy. Thanks for watching.